Welcome back to Zakima's Ridge Homestead. Today's video is a shared video off our Zakima's Ridge Shooting Sports channel, and it's about the PCSL match that we had last weekend.
Hello, and welcome to our channel. We're glad you're here.
Today's video, I'm going to talk to you about my take on modern gun school or MGS trade schools, and also kind of compare that with the little knowledge I have about AGI, or American Gunsmithing Institute. So I'm doing both of those right now. MGS is a pretty decent school, as far as in my opinion. The cost is definitely, out of the three main gun schools out there, it's definitely the most affordable. It is a lot of paperwork. They send you, in the whole run of the course, you get two of these big binders. This is the second one, units 10 through 17, and each lesson has got a lot of information in there as far as disassembly and reassembly of guns and issues with certain types and models of guns. There's multiple projects that you get to do. The one project is refinishing an M1 Garand stock. They send you the stock in varying conditions. It can have nicks and scratches in it and so forth, and you have to sand it up and refinish it, send it back. There's one for filing, one for using stone on hardened material, some measuring. You prep a small piece of steel for bluing. There's a tool you make. There's two different ones. This, I believe, is for a Ruger. They give you the rod, and you have to file and grind the end down to their specifications and put a handle on it, send it back. The tool and the gun stock, I went ahead and you can get any of them back that you want back. You have to pay, $20, $30 when you send it in if you want it returned. But I figured the tool, hey, I made it, I might need it someday. And the gun stock I actually have hanging up on the wall over here where I advertise that I stock refinish. So I did have those two tools or two projects returned. There's another project where you silver solder. That's the only one I have left to do. Once I have that done, I'm done with that school. Like I said, cost-wise, I'm going to say $2,500 for the one I did, which is the, I guess, the mid-tier program. It's the complete course with the projects, but they have a higher tier where you get some more tools, like a bench grinder and a few other items. And also a project gun. You can do a handgun, it's kind of like a Glock knockoff, an AR, I think a 1911, or a muzzleloader. So the cost on that was, I'm going to say $5,500 roughly, and the difference between the $2,500 I paid and the cost of that higher tier, to me, wasn't the value. When I signed up for it, they told you exactly what tools you got. It was like a Delta sander, and the other tools were from Harbor Freight. And I added up the cost of the tools and the cost of a project build, and I was well under what they were charging for the full course. So I went ahead and didn't go that route because I figured I could buy the tools myself cheaper, and I've built ARs before, so building a gun is not a necessity for me. They do have a lower tier course, which is probably half the cost of what I paid, and it's only the first 13 lessons, I believe. It gets you good basics. Along with the course I did, they do send you other tools. You get a trigger pull gauge. Vernier calipers, and most of these tools you do use in the course, like the calipers you use for the measuring one. They do send you a dial caliper, pretty nice set of files, which you do use the files when you do the course. A bore scope light, a mainspring vise, a cleaning kit, and a pretty nice gunsmithing apron that's got the big Modern Gun School or MGS Trade School's patch for it. With the other individual projects, like the stoning project, you do get an India stone. I don't have that up here. And the silver solder, you get solder and sandpaper. So some things you have to have your own supplies of, but for the majority of it, they do send you everything. It is a very, very informationally packed course. My problem with it is I don't learn that way. I can't read about tearing a gun apart and understand what I'm doing. I'm a hands-on, I'm a visual learner. So the information is there. You get hard copies of all the lessons as well as online. So you can read them online, you can take your tests online, but you also have a hard paper copy for your records, and also the tests are in there too. So if I get one of those guns to work on, there's good information there as far as the disassembly instructions and reassemblies and common problems and so forth. So I can open that book up and I can follow along as I tear it apart in my hands, and then I can learn it better. I kind of joke that MGS being Modern Gun School, there's nothing modern about it. It is a true gunsmithing school where you're learning how to tear apart and fix and repair and fabricate parts for some customer's great-grandpa's shotgun. There's not a lot of modern guns in there. You're not looking at like Smith & Wesson M&P stuff or even ARs. There is a supplement about ARs, but there's no real lessons on the true modern guns, because it is a gunsmithing school. It's not an armorer's course, basically. So you're learning about how to fix older, broken guns that you can't just buy a part for, potentially, that you have to fabricate the part, which is, like that tool fabrication lesson was important. I don't hardly have any complaints. It's a good school for the money that you spend, especially if you're a reading learner and not a hands-on visual learner like I am. Like I said, no complaints. If you want to get in on the ground floor and get the basic knowledge you would need to try and open a gunsmithing shop, I would recommend MGS, just for the simple fact that you're into it for $2,500. I did the payment plan, $99 a month is all I'm paying, and I think I've got $700, $600 left to pay off before I actually graduate, along with my silver solder project. But $99 a month is almost painless. So compared to the $14,000 for AGI, and I know Sonoran Desert Institute is also high dollar. I mean, you might learn more, you might have more information there, but that's a chunk of change you're trying to come up with. Now, if you've got like the VA benefits or something that can pay for that for you, fantastic. I would recommend going that route. But if you're just an everyday Joe that wants to learn how to fix guns and maybe open up a little hobby type gunsmithing business, or for me, I'm 55, so I'm getting closer to retirement, so I want to build this base up so I have basically a gun shop for when I retire, and I can just tinker around in here in my kind of spare time. So it's great for something like that. Now, as far as AGI, or American Gunsmithing Institute, goes, I'm also taking their law enforcement armorers course. It covers like 15 or 16 different handguns and rifles. It's got an AR section, an M&P, a Glock, Ruger revolvers. As far as the way I learn, I love that AGI course. It's DVDs. Robert Dunlap is a very, very knowledgeable gunsmith, but for me, he's hard to watch because he's kind of dry and slow speaking. So I sort of will mind will wander. So I'm having a little difficult time with the learning because I just don't mesh with the way he teaches, but the information is there. I mean, I may have to watch the video a couple times because I missed something, but that's how I am learning, is watching him take guns apart, put them back together, and he even has cutaway guns to describe how they operate. And just the last couple days, I had a customer bring in a little 25 ACP Phoenix Arms Raven that didn't work and wanted me to fix it, so I did. And I noticed the difference after watching these AGI videos where I'm taking the gun apart and I'm seeing the parts, and it's like, okay, I know what that part is. I know why that part is on that part, and it made the gun make sense to me, because that's, like I said, that's how I learn, is that visual learning. And when she came back to pick the gun up, she also brought in a revolver just to have me take a quick look at it for her. And as soon as I picked it up and looked at the side of it and saw the cylinder release button, I knew it was a Ruger, just from the course I had just taken on Ruger revolvers. Just to look at it, I knew right away it was a Ruger, whereas before I wouldn't have known that. So it is a very, the AGI videos, although they're costly, they're very good as far as for me anyway, is teaching me and learning what I need to know to work on guns. So I think between the two schools, I've got a pretty good background or basis to build this business off of. I will probably continue to use AGI. They've got their main course, which I think is like $15,000, but they offer the smaller courses. Like the armorer's course that I'm taking now is a $1,400 course, but it was on sale for $750 or something like that. So that's kind of not a bad deal to learn in detail 16 guns and become a certified law enforcement armorer, and then you can maybe hopefully draw in some of the local police departments to build some business off of. They have other individual courses like that. You can buy a single armorer's course for any gun they offer. They have appraiser's courses, which I kind of have my eye on that appraisal course for down the road. So, like I said, if you're wanting to start out budget-wise, MGS Trade School is the way to go. You get a lot of knowledge and a lot of material. If you want to go that next route up and get the more tools and the build because you've never built a gun before, great. Otherwise, AGI would be what I would recommend. I don't know a lot about Sonoran Desert Institute. I've heard good, I've heard bad. I don't know if you can pick and choose the courses you want to take from them, but I know you can at AGI. So that my two recommendations, based on my experience, would be MGS and AGI. SDI, that's, do your own research on that. So if you have any questions, put them down below. I'll answer them for you. And other than that, thanks for watching and have a wonderful day.